Good morning, one and all present here. Welcome to day 4 of the DST Government of India sponsored faculty development program on entrepreneurship development. During the last 12 months or so, the world faced one of the greatest tragedies called COVID-19. And to overcome the situation, the world was waiting for a medicine or a vaccine. Despite the lockdown, the professionals who are busy risking their lives are the scientists at the various research laboratories, along with the healthcare workers who are frontline warriors of COVID-19. Today, we are fortunate to have Dr. Rudra Prasad Shaha, an eminent biotechnologist and educationist, and Dean, School of Life Science and Biotechnology at Adams University. Dr. Shaha, a distinguished scholar with a couple of decades of experience in teaching and research, heads the School of Life Science and Biotechnology as the officiating dean at Adams University. Dr. Shaha completed his comprehensive postdoctoral research on host virus relationship at the University of Texas at Austin, USA, and San Diego State University, USA, after earning his PhD from the prestigious Bose Institute, Kolkata. Dr. Shaha has published several research papers in high-impact journals and presented his work in numerous national and international conferences around the world. Dr. Shaha is currently head and dean of School of Life Science and pursues research interest not limited to the domain of protein interaction, protein nucleic acid interaction, metal homeostasis, bacteria and metal regulation of transcription, bacteriophage host interaction, and development of phage-based gene therapy. Through his outstanding academic leadership and interpersonal skill combined with inimitable teaching style, Dr. Shaha encourages the youth towards scientific temperament, research orientation, and entrepreneurial journey. We are fortunate to have Dr. Rudra Prasad Shaha amidst us today in the voyage of learning and entrepreneurship development. With this short introduction, I now let Dr. Shaha to take over the schedule in discussing the role of biotechnology in entrepreneurship development. Dr. Shaha, please.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee, for the nice introduction. Shall I share the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a second. Okay, so is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
The slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the topic for today is entrepreneurship development and the role of biotechnology. And biotech is a hot sector. It's a hot sector for today's, due to today's the pandemic situation that we faced for more than 1 year, currently 11 months. The lockdown started in India or in West Bengal from middle of March, and we are almost 11 months gone that we are still a kind of partial lockdown. Not all sectors opened up 100%. So the healthcare industry or biotech industry, specifically for the vaccine and the diagnostic sectors, boosted due to got very huge boost due to this pandemic. But the biotechnology sector is not only about vaccine and the diagnostic sectors. It's a very big sector, and even if we do not recognize, every day we use certain products that are actually came from biotechnological innovation. So it is very important to understand how biotechnology affecting our life. What are the different areas where a person can start a business? It is not required to be a professor or scientist to start a business. in India. And if you have certain idea, you can definitely, and you have money, you have some, if even if you do not have money, obviously you need to uh, get funding from either government or from non-government agencies to fund your research, because there is a cost associated uh, in any business. So we'll discuss everything, and what are the different areas at present time or modern time where a bio entrepreneur can start. So let's start with basic idea about an entrepreneur or bio entrepreneur per se. So usually entrepreneurs can be defined as individual who find scientific niche for new opportunities and create new business relationship for or from them. Entrepreneurs provide important input for economic development. Entrepreneur has to be a visionary. He or she has to understand how the market is changing and what would be the demand for a particular product 5 years down the line. So he or she has to change with the uh, trends of the industry, because of the technological innovation, specifically in the biotechnology sectors. The It's very high speed. Within few years, sorry, within few years, new technologies are coming to the sector. So one has to be a good bio entrepreneur, has to understand those different changes in the industry, and he or she has to embrace it. Entrepreneur bring about overall change through innovation for maximum social good. Whatever product that we are developing or we are marketing, it has to be associated with certain social goodness. If we are not giving back to the society, a bio entrepreneur cannot survive for a long time. So these are the ideal characteristics of bio entrepreneur. Now, as I said, biotechnology industry is not a new industry, it's a very old industry. And if you look at the history, even the biotechnology started in very ancient time, when people start learn how to breed new crops. They grow rice, different varieties of rice, wheat, and other crops, and they use breeding techniques. And those breeding techniques are that classic breeding techniques or ancient breeding techniques are the basically stepping stones, and those are the biotechnology innovations. Similarly, animal breeding, cattles and other animals, uh, all because of the biotechnological innovations, and through that multiple biotechnological innovations happened, and eventually we are in a state where even if there is a new virus came, we can develop a vaccine less than a year. So you can understand how the technological innovations has came, and basically it affected every one of us, not only scientists or entrepreneurs, but also each and every public, each and every human. But there is a difference between the traditional entrepreneur 10-20 years down the line and the modern entrepreneurs today. The attributes, if we compare attributes of a traditional entrepreneur with a modern today's entrepreneur, there is a huge difference between the attitude and how that person has to look into different aspects of his business, his or her business. So attributes in a traditional entrepreneurs are he or she has to take initiative, uh, he or she has to take decisions, innovative, and risk takers. But if you look at current modern entrepreneurs, you will see it's there are multiple attributes are there, and one has to be very uh, agile, confident. He or she has to be passionate, optimistic. He or she has to take a risk. Usually they are loners, they are professional, they must have high energy, they have to be flexible, persistent, self-responsibility, resource utilization, multidimensional. So there are 20 plus different types of attributes. So you can see it's a like 24/7 hours job. You have to devote everything if you have to develop a successful business. It's very competitive. Today's world is very competitive. So every different all different people is trying for the same thing. For example, if you look at the coronavirus pandemic, and if you look at the databases, information on the newspaper, you will find there are hundreds of different companies competing for the development of vaccine, but only one or two going to win. But what about the rest of them? They have invested their money, they have invested their energy, lot of things, but eventually those products will not be able to, they won't be able to market it because only one or two are going to win. So as I said, it's a very competitive market. There is a bigger chance to lose everything because you have to devote everything. So you have to be 100% devoted to your business, to your plan, and you have to make plans accordingly how you're going to go about. And even if you find there are roadblocks, there will be multiple roadblocks in front of you, you have to change with time. Now, if we look at the nature of biotechnology industry per se, it's a different industry than other industry. There are special features for life science industry. For example, strong research base is required. So if you are developing a new product, you have to devote a lot of time, a lot of money into discovery, finding out new items or new products which can be useful. Rigid government controls are very much is there in the biotechnology industry, because most of the products that bio entrepreneur are going to develop going to affect human health. So if something is going to affect human health, it has to be regulated by government. So there is a very strong control of government there on the biotechnology industry. So we have to comply with all the government regulations. Heavy investment of research, as I said, if a person is going to develop a new medicine or new product, then you have to spend money on the research, and research is very highly expensive in biotechnology or life science industry per se. And there are long gestation time. Sometimes it takes more than 10 years to develop a vaccine. But in emergency, for example, the coronavirus pandemic situation, we have seen that we able to develop vaccine, or scientists or companies able to develop vaccine within 1 year, only because everyone around the world collaborated. All government agencies, all government collaborated. They spent huge amount of money. All resources were contributed towards the development of the vaccine. So that's why we are able to see a product less than 1 year. Although the testing has to be done and it will take some more years, but we now have a product that we can actually market, and we can actually because it is also essential for human health. We cannot wait longer for the testing period, because in the phase 3 testings for vaccines takes long years, several years. So anyway, so if you devote your time, if you devote your energy, and if you have funding, you can definitely develop a product within a short period of time, and which would be useful for the human also. A long period of wait before return on investment, as I already said. Sometimes to develop a molecule or vaccine or product, it takes long time, sometimes more than 5 to 10 years. So till then, unless you have a product, finished product, you cannot market it. And if you cannot market it, obviously you cannot get profit out of it. So for the 10 years long, you have to fund your research, you have to spend money, and then only you can get return out of it. So sometimes there is a long period of gestation. Financial resources, you need to have a lot of financial resources, because some researchers heavy investment oriented, and you have to take risk, because as I said, there are several hundreds of other companies which are developing vaccine, but eventually their products are not going to be marketed. So they lost money, they lost initiative, their time. So there is always market risk. So as I said, as there is a lot of market risk, so most of the time the biotech firms do not have any substantial revenue to show, and the industry as a whole sometimes reports a net loss. So to typically takes over, as I said, a vaccine development, a product development takes a lot of time and a lot of resources, sometimes like close to billion years, 500 million, 500 million dollars to like more than $1 billion. Sometimes they have to bring to the table to develop a new biotech drug. Therefore, the encouragement of risky and long-term capital inflows from the investor is important for the continued health of the industry, for the industry. So there are two structural pillars for any business or any bio entrepreneur. One is structural pillars and other is the emotional pillars. Where structural pillars are you have a quality management team. Obviously, it's a big venture. One cannot manage everything by himself or herself. The bio entrepreneur needs a quality management team, adequate financing resources, and access to new technology that leads to products. Sometimes when you are developing a certain things, a product, and new technology comes, you have to embrace, you have to use that new technology and modify the product accordingly for the need of the time. So you have to be very flexible. Similarly, as you are devoting a lot of time, you have to be emotionally very stable. You have to be patient, optimistic, and perseverance. Once these, both the structural pillars and emotional pillars combine, then only a management team or bio entrepreneur can see a success and can have success. For promotion of bio entrepreneurship efforts or inputs, we need participation from every sector. For example, government has to promote the industry. Government has to fund the industry. Indian government already opened up lot of avenues to fund startups, biotech industry. They are giving out funds through Biotech and other agencies. Industry role of industry is also very important. They has to understand the trend and willingness to diversify. As I said, the technology, because of the technological innovations, trends are changing every month or every year. So industry has to be flexible to understand the trends, and they has to diversify. If a product is not going to work, they have to diversify into new product within a short span of time, or modify the product accordingly so that it can be utilized. Role of the scientific community to develop dialogue with the industry. In India, if you look at the Indian scenario, there is a very less talks between industry and the academic community. And therefore, academic community or scientific community discovers a lot of things, but that was not translated into products because industry people do not take initiative, or both. It's a kind of vice versa situation. Both has to take initiative so that a successful academic and scientific collaboration happens and the product can be developed. Even if we have a very high intellectual capacity, our scientists have developed a lot of theories on paper, but those theories or products is not translated into a product, a commercial product, which would be useful for the human. So here comes the importance for a scientific community as well as academics. And also the public support is needed. A conducive atmosphere is absolutely essential. Then only a big product development can happen, with the collaboration from both industry as well as academia, with the help of the government funding. There are different types of projects are ongoing in life science industry. Some are low-tech products, some are high-tech products, but specifically biotechnology companies stresses upon recombinant DNA technology to develop different proteins, human proteins, which are essentials. For example, insulin required for the diabetes, and different human growth factors are required. So those are essential medical needed product whenever certain patient requires these. A lot of people for India, a lot of people have diabetes, so we constantly supply of insulin, and these are commercially made by different companies using recombinant DNA technology. Different therapeutic proteins such as interferons, interleukins, which are required for like infections, either through bacterial infections or viral infections. Monoclonal antibodies for therapy and other applications. Antibodies are required both for the academic scientific community as also for the medical industry. Gene therapies are emerging technology where we can modify a gene within a human so that uh, uh, basically mutated copy of the gene which resulted in certain diseases can be changed. Though it's not easy to change uh, gene within a human, because human is a multicellular organism and we have billions of cells. If you want to do gene therapy, you have to change genome or gene in every cell. So it takes long time or very difficult to do. For if you want to change the genome or edit the gene of a adult human, it is almost impossible. It can be done localized in certain region of the body, but it is very difficult to do uh, or edit the gene for every cell. Uh, un, unless it is done in during the before the childbirth. So anyway, there is a complicated technology. I'm not going to discuss it, but it is possible. There are technologies available which we can utilize to modify delete or mutated copy of gene and replaced with a good copy. Then there are other technology also, antisense DNA technology, human genome projects, genomic or proteomic based projects. Genomics is a hot sector today. We can sequence our genome and find out whether there is a possibility of having certain disease or not in later after 5 years or 10 years. Okay, so lots of companies now offer genome analysis uh, service. They can sequence your genome and find out if there are issues or mutations present on the genome or not, and accordingly that person can take precaution so that those diseases can be avoided in later point of their life. So the life cycle, if you look at the life cycle industry, so it starts from the discovery. New concept is or new technology has been discovered, and a bio entrepreneur has to find out a way to utilize the technology or the discovery to formulate a concept of a new product development or new technology development that can be useful for a human. So once the proof of concept is developed, he or she starts development with a small team, and once he or she got some positive results, that idea has to be patented through intellectual property management. Because if you are in an industry, you develop a formula, if you do not apply for patent or secure your innovation through intellectual property management, eventually the same thing can be done by another group, and eventually, and if they patented your technology, then eventually the technology is basically lost from you. Okay, so before you start developing or manufacturing a certain product which you developed through certain new technology or idea, your idea has to be protected first, then only you can go into manufacturing. So once patenting is done and licensing is done in obviously once you have done take a patent on your idea, you have to get license from government to for the manufacturing of that particular product. So there you can manufacture and distribute or market your product in India or abroad or USA. If you want to market your product in USA, obviously you have to take approval or get license from the US FDA. So similarly, every country there are rules and regulations. There are regulatory authorities are available from where you have to take permission. Then only you can start manufacturing and marketing those products in those countries. So once licensing is done, then you go into manufacturing, you market your product, and then basically you distribute among the general public as for commercialization. So I'm skipping few things. So there are excuse me, standard just a second.
হ্যাঁ, তা
Okay.
সে মিড টার্মের সময় খেয়াল করো নি যে এসি নেই সময় বেল গেল
Okay. So
খাতা দেখা হয়
now there are A scientist, if for example, let's say you are a scientist and you have an idea and you want to commercialize that your idea into a product, then you have to take several steps. It could be same for the scientist, or it could be same for any other person who is going to develop a product for marketing or the business. For example, scientists, through first you need found some grants. Through initial government or foundation grants, you discover some mechanism in biology that particularly interesting to you. And for example, let's say it's appealing for a disease intervention or treatment. You develop a product which is basically going to help to prevent a certain disease. And you identify the opportunity that this product is not, this kinds of product is not available in the market. So if I develop this product in large scale and market, there is an opportunity. There is a business opportunity. So scientist or non-scientist person has to understand the opportunity, and depending on the opportunity, he or she has to take multiple steps. So then scientist files a disclosure through the, for example, scientist either affiliated to an institute or a university, he or she has to file a disclosure through the university office and begins discussions with the technology transfer or licensing officer. So if you have an idea, you have to first patent it. So you can file patent through, for example, even Adams University have IPR cell. You can file, if you have an idea, if you have a product, you can file patent application through our IPR cell. Then he or she has to write a small business innovation research grant. Obviously, if an idea, but from idea to the product, you need a lot of money. So you have to apply for grant, either to certain government agencies who usually give funds to entrepreneurs, or to private industries to start your startup. And then the scientist entrepreneur has to take a decision. Once you have the funding, you have to take a decision that either you continue developing your product through university, keeping the university position or institute position, or you basically leave the academic position permanently or temporarily and to actively pursue your commercialization. Some institutions nowadays actually allow their scientists or academic people to take temporary leave and develop their product. Okay, so they basically can keep their position, academic position, but they can have a leave of absence for a certain period of time to develop and commercialize their innovations or product. Obviously, the university or the institute have a stake in that your idea or development in that case. But if you detach your academic position permanently, then obviously it would be more challenging if you do not have much access to the fund, because now you have to gather all the funds either through your personal funds, or you have to arrange for funds from other agencies, families, even other angel investors or venture capitalists. You have to arrange funds from them, and then you can launch your venture. There are several basic components of biotech industry company are there: scientific creativity, market needs, strategy, people. I'm going to skip few things because I don't think I have much time left. So there are multiple components that require for to be able to get success in this very highly competitive sector. Biotech industry is a very competitive sector nowadays in India, and lots of company, due to the pandemic, to take advantage of the pandemic situation, there are a lot of companies actually started venturing into different products, different similar types of products. Multiple companies are developing diagnostic kits, multiple companies are developing vaccines. So it's a very competitive field. And for your entrepreneurial activities, you need corporate ventures. As I said, you need large sum of investment for your startup. Sometimes you can get capital or investment from individual scientists. Scientists may contribute from their own fund to initiate small startup, or you can get funding from the self-help groups, from different societies, outreach programs of the government, for example, women empowerment. Now, if you look at biotech industry who took opportunity driven companies in India, you'll find there are multiple companies who specifically work on certain niche and market certain product. For example, there are big, large pharmaceutical companies, for example, Dr. Reddy's or Nicholas Piramal or like Biocon or Reliance Group, which Reliance Life Sciences. So there are already established player in the sector which is basically a multi-dimensional companies, multiple products, different areas, but they also have certain subsidiary. Small, they develop small products, small startup, which basically work on some specific niche, and those niches are based on the opportunity in the market. And if you look at some of the names, for example, Syngene, which is a part of a subsidiary of Biocon, or Origin, which is a subsidiary of uh, Dr. Reddy's, or Chem Biotech, the Chatterjee group, all work on specific areas and which is based on the market needs. Similarly, technology-driven companies are also there in genomics and proteomics. If, for example, Avastagen in plant genomics, or Metahelix in another plant genomics company, Genotypic Microarrays. So different types of companies are there to take opportunity in the market. And India is a big country, 130 crores of population, different diversity of different communities. So it's a huge, the population can drive a lot of growth in the biotechnology industry. So even if you're able to capture only 1% of the market, you still have a successful venture. There are different sectors where a scientist can work on or look for opportunity. For example, bioindustrial sectors where gestation period is smaller compared to certain development. It takes years. But for bioindustrial sector, which basically does not develop new products, but only incrementally improve certain existing product, where the gestation period is small, it is not as capital intensive as vaccine development also. So biofuel industry, energy crops, bioethanol production, biodiesel production, or different enzyme productions and chemical industries are that kind of sector, bioindustrial sector, where you need less capitals, relatively less capital, and within less period of time, you can develop your product and market it. Then there is bioservice sector, which works on market development, making alliances with and collaborations with foreign clinical trials, look for contract research, contract manufacturing, where also it is not capital intensive. Environmental sector, which is again not capital intensive, less capital is required, and you can work on environmental consultancy, packaged microorganism, bioremediation, and other things. Biomedical sector is very capital intensive because it directly you have to develop a product. Many companies develop new products, or many companies try to improve existing product, but still it is very capital intensive because you have to test there is a lot of regulations in biomedical sectors, and as it is directly going to affect human health, because you are developing a certain medicine for a particular disease. So there is a strict regulation, regulatory authorities are there. So it is capital intensive. So you have to show through thorough research and the time that the product that you developed or developing is beneficial for human. So it takes time, it's capital intensive. Technology development is time consuming, regulatory hurdles are there, as I said. So these industry work on vaccines, diagnostic kit development, therapeutic proteins, enzyme development, or hormone or blood products. Agro-based sector is very big in India. Most of the GDP comes from the agriculture industry. So genetically modified seeds or crops or biofertilizer, biopesticides, or through plant tissue cultures, we can develop new product. uh, and also micronutrients. Then there are natural product industry, medicinal plants with potential anti-cancer or anti-immunogenic compounds, herbal extracts for different diseases. Bio support segment is also there, which manufacture research, biological molecular biology reagents. This bio support segment is specifically supply reagents for doing research in academia as well as industry. So for example, we regularly procure products, our lab or other labs, science, school of science procure a lot of chemicals, or other departments also procure chemicals from through biosupport industry. Nutraceuticals and functional food business is becoming big, $1 billion industry in India. It's an unregulated industry with an annual turnover of more than $1 billion. So you can understand it's a very big industry, but it's unregulated. So it's they are not treating any diseases. They are basically make supplements which are beneficial. What they say, that is beneficial. It's a dietary supplements, and these are natural products. Okay. So different dietary supplements, nutraceuticals, functional food businesses, as well as businesses that produce foods for special dietary use covered by this industry. Then there are food related industry, makes probiotics, mushrooms and agricultural products, etc., as well as animal sciences sector. So these are the basic few sectors which you will find in the biotechnology industry. Nowadays, there are lots of commercial opportunities are there for high-tech areas. For example, drug discovery and development. Uh, the coronavirus pandemic shown that new drugs can be developed in a short span of time if there is enough funding and government backup is available. Then biomaterials and tissue engineering. Uh, Nowadays scientists are working on this tissue engineering sector where if the tissue is damaged, the tissue can be regenerated. Usually not all, it's very difficult to regenerate parts of our body. Our skin can regenerate, but even if it takes long time, if there is a big damage or big patch of the skin is damaged, then if you want to replace it, it takes a lot of time. So scientists are developing different biomaterials which will basically fasten the tissue development or skin development in those damaged areas. So it's a big sector. Diagnostic sector is again a big sector where new different types of diseases are coming, and we do not have means to understand or identify diseases beforehand. Okay, so one can develop new diagnostic technologies to identify presence of certain products in our blood, and that can actually give you certain indication that down the line your heart can be damaged. So multiple we can develop, there is opportunity to develop multiple products in diagnostic sector through which we can identify certain diseases quite ahead of time. Then there are gene silencing and other technologies are there. I'm not going to uh, get into everything. Bioprocess, functional foods, bioinformatics, therapeutics, lots of commercial opportunities are there in life science sector. That's why there is huge investments are going on, both from government as well as private sectors. And the life science sector is already big in developed countries in UK or USA, but last couple of years, last few years, last 5 to 10 years, government also spending a lot of money because of the opportunity that is available, and we can develop a lot of different products which could be beneficial for the human. Contract manufacturing is very big in India, because if you look at the R&D sector in India, the research and development which develops new product, and a sector which only do contract manufacturing. So contract manufacturing is very big compared to R&D, pure R&D in India at this point of time. Why? Because, for example, major biotech companies, for example, biotech companies in UK or USA, developed countries, they do not have manufacturing capacity. They may have an idea, may have a product, finished product, but they need to manufacture is a short span of time. They don't have that much of capacity. So they outsource the manufacturing to countries, for example, India or China or Bangladesh, to manufacture uh, their product as a, and that way they can also save a lot of money, because on those countries where the manufacturing cost is less, labor cost is low. In USA, UK, labor cost is very high compared to India or China or Bangladesh. So they usually give contract research to these countries, and then India or China can develop, manufacture those products in a large scale, and then they can market it. So Indian companies get lot of contract manufacturing, contract manufacturing from developed countries, US and UK, and our contract manufacturing uh, uh, is as a big percentage if you look at the R&D sector compared to the R&D sector. So there is a lot of opportunities are there, and a lot of foreign investments, foreign monies is coming to Indian startups or pharmaceutical companies who do contract manufacturing for big companies in US or UK. And then similarly, clinical trial opportunities. Now, if you look at, if you read newspapers and you follow the coronavirus pandemic news, you will find there are a lot of companies which are developing. For example, a lot of developed countries who already developed vaccine, they want to start clinical trials in India. For example, UK-based companies or US-based companies or Russian companies, for example, they want to start clinical trials here, phase 3 clinical trials, because for phase 3 you need lot of people. You have to test your drug on lot of thousands and thousand people to see the efficacy of that particular drug. And if you have a diverse populations, different communities, different behavior, food behavior, then you have uh, your clinical trials will be more appropriate. So they do these kinds of clinical trials to India, because India have a very big variety of gene pools, large patient diversity. We have quality physicians, nurses, investigators, monitors. Our hospitals are quite well equipped, and also of the language, English language, and quality and responsive and motivated, committed clinicians. So that's why the developed countries want to do their clinical trials here in US, in India or China or similar countries where there is a large amount of diverse population is present. So there is a big opportunity for India in clinical trials also. Then there are different product other than clinical trials or contract research. There is a different a selection of products are available for a new biotech venture. If you want to get into the biotech industry, you want to develop a product, there are a lot of ideas are present. For example, demand for various products today and in the future, because of the big populations and diversity, there will be always demand for different products. Technology, whether available, you can utilize the technology to modify or improve certain product. You can get a high rate of return on your investment. Always there is a possibility, uh, whether it's you can market your product in local or as well as international markets. uh, this sector is very competitive. Maybe whatever you are going to develop, that product is developed by other competitors also. So you have to always use technology to modify your product so that it becomes it would be better than your competitor. So you have to always uh, you have to understand the trend and change with time. Otherwise, eventually that product will be not going to be used by the company, the general public. And then there are many other things are there. Fundings, you have to secure fundings and other things. So from product to manufacture product, lot of hurdles has to be uh, taken. Funding opportunities for biotech startups, there are lots of funding opportunities are there. Government I already said that there are different government agency, for example, BIRAC and others, they who uh, fund different, even if you are not affiliated to a university or institute, you can still get funding to develop your product if you show your intention and you establish that you have a very good plan and you have certain backups. You can definitely get funding from the government as well as the other industries. You can go for the startups or incubators. You can get government grants, venture capitals. You can arrange venture capitals. Public may also invest through certain schemes, and you can also acquire or merge. If you are big companies, sometimes big companies acquire smaller and interesting companies who develop niche product. They acquire those companies to acquire their intellectual property rights on certain products so that they can manufacture in large scale. To build a successful biotech or life science company from scratch, it's not an easy task. You have to take care of a lot of things. You have to partner with government. You have to apply all the government regulations, as well as you have to make partnership with other investors or venture capitalists or corporate partners. Uh, it involves lot of time and your negotiations. You have to devote everything. As in your first couple of slides, I have shown you that differences between the traditional entrepreneurs and the modern day entrepreneurs, and you'll see there are a lot of attributes are required. You have to devote everything. You if you have to if you uh, able to develop a product which would be useful, and you to market that product for to the public, and to be successful, you have to devote every second of your time. Demands emotional toll on management, and still there is no guarantee that your product will be accepted by the general public. You have to negotiate terms to minimize restrictions on different uh, aspects of your development. Should obtain sound advice from an attorney, accountant, and financial advisor before entering into a definitive agreement. You have to you have to take patents, or you have to protect your idea through intellectual property rights. There are different hindrances, there are many problems. Even if there is a possibility of making a large gain through developing a product in life science sector, but there are a lot of hindrances also there. The business model, if the business model does not work, obviously the business will going to be fail. You need a lot of investment in the early stages to reach the critical mass, so that you have a finished product, and then only you can market. Sometimes your innovations or your product requires long gestation time and lot of investment. So you have to withstand that issue. Technology, you have to all embrace technology. Every year the technology is changing, so if you do not embrace the new trends and new technologies, it will be very difficult. You need to have constant cash flows. If there is a Because for the long gestation period development product developments, you need constant supply of cash uh, with no return. Okay, so if you do not have a large funding resources, it would be very difficult. There is always risk. For example, as I said, you are in a vaccine development industry, you developed a vaccine, but eventually there are big players in the market who developed the vaccine within a short period of time, and they marketed a product, and eventually your product will not be you won't be able to market your product. So you devoted your time, your money, everything, but it does not guarantee that you will be successful at the end of the time and end of the line. So always risk factors are there. So a good entrepreneur should have a exit strategy. So the Indian markets that do not offer depth or flexibility or exit options to investors. So for example, the capital markets and strategic investor interest in the US market leads to a lot of different exit options for the financial investors. But right now we don't have those kinds of safety nets. So investors who are going to invest in you or your product, there is always a risk factor associated. And so you have to consider those things also. So these are the main hindrances for the industry. So even if there are a lot of hindrances, there are a lot of good examples are available. There are a lot of entrepreneurs in India who developed big companies from very small startups. For example, we know Kiran Shah Majumdar, who developed Biocon, uh, the Dr. Reddy founder, V. Reddy, the founder of Shanta Biotechnologies, or Rajesh Jain, who developed Panacea Biotech, or Vilo Patel, who developed Avastagen Gen Grain in the plant sector, or Swati Piramal, who's the director of Nicholas Piramal. So these are the companies that are very successful companies who developed multiple different products, multi-dimensional products, and they started small and eventually they able to gather funding, withstand a long gestation period, and now all these companies are very successful in Indian scenario. So always there is a possibility that you can get very high return in this particular sector, but you have to withstand a lot of pressure, lot of emotional and physical toil, and lot of money, and then only and you would be able to get success. And as I said, the government started a lot of initiative. They helping the government helping our biotech industry different ways so that the startups can flourish. Already the 100% FDA is approved in different sectors, so you can get foreign direct investments, and they already fast tracked these clearance routes for the regulatory hurdles. There are a lot of red tapes or regulatory hurdles, so they minimize those issues, and so that the product that are going to develop or the startup are easy to, so a startup can easy get approval from the government or get funds from the government. So nowadays you can see that even institutes or universities opened up innovation and incubation centers because government is actively promoting that, so that these ideas can come from students also. So it is not necessary that always ideas will come from a scientist or academicians. Even students can have certain ideas, and faculties or scientists or academicians can nurture those ideas in incubators, and eventually that can be translated into a successful startups or products eventually, which would be beneficial for the society. So through different incubation and innovation centers developed in university or institutes, governments are giving a lot of funds, and they are encouraging these kinds of ventures so that a successful products can be developed down the line. So with that, I want to stop here. So that's the basic scenario of the biotechnology industry in India today. And sometimes the basic research takes a lot of time. You have an idea, but from idea to finished product, it takes a lot of time. You have to devote a lot of time, a lot of money. As you can see the pyramid in this particular figure, that the basic research, it takes a lot of time, and development takes a lot of years, and eventually you will get a product. You may start with, let's say, thousands of different product ideas, and eventually only one product will be successful through rigorous filtering and channeling and strategizing. Eventually you will able to get a product which would be beneficial. So you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money, but if you uh, uh, have a patience, you are optimistic, you are agile, eventually you'll be able to get success in biotechnology industry in India. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I'll be eager to answer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful deliberation. It is really a great learning experience for us. So I would now open the platform for questions from participants.
Okay, I guess there is no question. So in that case, okay, I think no questions. So thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for your attention. And,
Hello,
yeah.
am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your wonderful talk on the scope of biotechnology in different aspects. So I would like to ask you one very simple question. Like, suppose if somebody wants to start a venture on the biotechnology field, as you have mentioned, like as we know that biotechnology can be used for like in food sector, in agriculture, in pharmaceuticals. So if suppose one any person wants to start a kind of a startup in biotechnology field, so in at this present scenario, so which one would be the most important for him to focus on, either for in the food sector or the pharmaceutical biotechnology, so like this?
Okay, I very good questions, but I would say that one should not one should have an idea. If you do not have an idea, then you see there is an opportunity in the biotechnology sector. You want to get into the biotechnology sector because there is a big amount of money can be made. Then if you do not have an idea, but you only wants to gain from the industry, then your venture might not be successful. You must have a idea, a certain innovative way uh, through which you can develop a product which would be beneficial for the society. If it is not beneficial for the society, then it cannot be accepted by the mass. So the having an idea is very important. It irrespective of what sector, it does not matter what sector the idea came from. Is a food sector or pharmaceutical sectors or other sector, the idea has to be important and it has to benefit the society. If this is true, then the person can start your venture, start their startup, get funding from the government. Obviously government has to understand that your idea is useful, going to be useful down the line. Because if you do not, it is not self funded. As I said, that it's a very capital intensive industry. You need a lot of money to develop product. So if you do not have that much of money, obviously you need to get money from either government agencies or private agencies. So your idea, you have to pitch your idea to them also. They has to understand that your idea has potential, then only they are going to invest on you. Okay, so everything, it depends on you. So if you have a very good idea, you think, you are passionate, you know that idea can be converted into a successful product, then eventually you would able to convince. If you able to convince your investor, you will have a successful startup.
Okay, thank you, sir, for this discussion, and I hope everyone who are attending here, so they have a lot of take home for them from the talk that Professor Shah delivered. So, with this note, I would like to ask you all the attendee, if you have any other questions, you can ask directly to Professor Shah, because he is very much willing to answer your queries or questions. So anyone present here would like to ask any question? Okay, so if there are no any questions further, so we can move forward to the next session. And from the organizing committee, I'd like to thank Professor Shah for your time that you have given us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mojumdar and Dr. Saptarshi Chatterjee. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, everyone, again. So may I have a pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Professor Dr. Shantanu Bhomik. And so Professor Bhomik is currently head of the research and project at School of Engineering, and he's a professor at Department of Aerospace Engineering and Civil Engineering at School of Engineering, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham at Coimbatore. Now, Dr. Bhomik received his PhD in mechanical engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Roorkee, and his part of PhD thesis was also carried out at Technical University Berlin, Germany. Before joining in Amrita University, Dr. Bhomik has worked as associate professor at Department of Aerospace Engineering, Delft University of Technology, Netherlands, the senior scientist at the Agency of Science and Science, Technology and Research under Government of Singapore, and has become a scientist at Royal Military College of Canada under National Defence of Canada. Now, very brief discussion that I have given for Professor Shantanu Bhomik, because he is very eminent person in his field, and Dr. Bhomik has established the International Center for Nanotechnology and Applied Addition at the Sikkim Manipal University, Sikkim, India, and his research articles have been cited by a number of industries, including the Lockheed Martin, US, Israel Aerospace Limited, Leonie under the AG Switzerland, Dutch Space, the Netherlands, and Ventacol Limited in Australia. Now, it would be incomplete if I don't say that in 2018, so our present central government gave a nod to the indigenous technology for lightweight bulletproof materials for our brave Indian soldiers. So in this project, he became the leading scientist and principal investigator. So in such a way, he also served for the country, he served for also our brave soldiers who are constantly defending us and giving our defense. So with this note, I would like to say my thanks to Professor Bhomik that he has given us the time, and so that we have got the opportunity to listen to him. So with this note, so I would like to pay your attention. I'd like to ask your attention. So please listen to Professor Bhomik. Professor Bhomik, sir, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. So it is over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all. Namaskar. Okay. So first I'm sharing the slide, and yeah, good morning, Dr. Saptasri. And first I'm sharing the slide, and then whatever the products we have, I'll be showing to all of you. So I must give my sincere thanks to Dr. Saptasri and Dr. Majumdar for inviting me and Dr. Amolis Mukherjee to introduce me with this program. It is visible, the slide is visible. It's visible, no, the slide?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So it is state-of-the-art technology on recycling of the plastic waste. And let me explain. 3 of my students during their BTech, Akash Jayakumar, Akash Vinit, and Abhiyas Balaji, they did their BTech with me and the BTech project, and immediately they have their own startup company. And now they are giving know-how of this technology across the country. So my first slide, I would say, the inspiration, arise and stop not till the goal is reached. This quote is from Upanishad, and Swami Vivekananda took in his life and implemented that one. That means if we do something, we have a very specific goal. We must proceed to the specific goal and complete that task. Next, 26 September 2013, our Chancellor, her name is Mata Amitanandamayi, we call Amma. On that time, Narendra Modi, see Narendra Modi was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He came to take blessing from her. So when he came to take blessing from her, then Amma actually guided him that if you become Prime Minister of India in next year, please make Clean India mission with the first priority. So it was the brainchild of our Chancellor, which he called beloved Amma. Then I must come to this next slide. According to Times Education's 2020 ranking, the rank of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham is 10th in India, including all IITs. But the fact, this is hardly 18 years old university. It's hardly 18 years old university, and now is neck to neck with the IITs and IISc. These are my 3 students. They have their own startup company called RQ Plastics Private Limited. And Akash Jaikumar, Akash, Vinit, and Aviyas Balaji. Next, we do have a very strong misconception that plastic has to be banned. We enter the country, we have a very strong misconception. Why? Why you cannot ban the plastic? Now let me explain that word. The country who has banned the plastic, like Rwanda, GDP is 2280, Tanzania 3444, Kenya 3691, Bangladesh, Tunisia, Botswana. But the countries like Singapore, Norway, USA, Sweden, Germany, Australia, China, having the higher GDP, they never banned the plastics because they know if they ban the plastic, economy will close down, will come down. Rather, they do have a very specific technology how to recycle the plastic and make next products. So this is the commodity plastics. You can see we all use these buckets, utensils, and the fork, glasses, all those. This you can see that brass, comb, toothbrush. Can we really ban toothbrush? We never know. Now we have 1.35 billion population in the country. Everyone, I think, in the morning we use toothbrush. So it's not possible to ban toothbrush. Similarly, the medical plastics, we really cannot ban the syringe and then this capsule packets. So these all are the plastic and making the waste out after this. Now I am coming to why again we cannot ban the plastic, because it's having some other applications. Like if we have a high-end application, like we have made the lightweight cryogenic tank from ISRO, lightweight space structure for the ISRO, then container for storage of radioactive we have given to BARC, the lightweight bulletproof materials for Indian Army, Navy, CRPF, and ITBP and BSF. Then also we have made lightweight blast-proof composite. So here you see all these 5 technologies, we cannot eliminate plastic application. This one of the soldier using this lightweight plastic, the composite waste for the bulletproofing. Also, we have developed a technology that in the Sundarban area in West Bengal, there are a problem of the tigers attacking the human being. So we have made certain composite, even the tiger give a thrust, nothing will happen. This can be used as a helmet or the neck guards. Now my own survey, this place is called, in Switzerland, is called, the name is near to Jungfrau. This place, just valley of that, you can see that Alps mountain, river, and below the valley, absolutely clean, not a single plastic. Cows are there, moving there. My own survey in Himalayan Devbhumi, in Pauri Garhwal, I saw the beauty of the nature, the Himalayan, absolutely beautiful mountain. Even I would say better than Switzerland. But below of what I see in Pauri Garhwal, in the town itself, plastics are littered everywhere. Cows are eating those plastics and we are drinking those cow's milk and affected by cancer. Clear? India is generating every day around 26,000 tons of plastic waste every day. This is the real ground scenario of Delhi Ghaziabad highway. You can see that the bridge, river Jamuna, dump is there. Next, the moment if you cross if you start from airport, if you go to a Dakshineswar, the moment you come near to the bridge, Dakshineswar bridge, you will find the left, there is a big stackyard of plastic waste, huge one, like a mountain. It is on the way from Kolkata to Howrah. Then our own experience in 2018 flood in Kochi in Kerala in August, when the flood water came down, the bridge was completely occupied with plastic waste. And so what they did, again, they have collected and thrown in the river. Now, so all 1.35 billion population of the country, we are throwing plastic and creating this mess across the country. So therefore, Prime Minister is giving a symbol. See, a single person really cannot clean the plastic. It's a fact. He has given a symbol, like kind of a mission for the Clean India mission, and giving it's a symbol for this. This is the condition in Bay of Bengal, near to I think that place called Sagardip. This is the condition there. Himachal Pradesh, in the river Bias, dump of plastics you see here. Uttaranchal, same scenario. Sikkim. Now let me explain this one very interesting fact. I think many of you had been to North Sikkim. There is a place called Chungtham in North Sikkim. While going to Lachung and Lachin or Gurudambar, there is a place point called Chungtham. So you can carry your plastic bottle up to Chungtham. Fine. And there's a checkpoint in Chungtham. So what they do, they collect the plastic bottles and they keep it there. So I was quite curious. I asked that, what do you do after that? Then they say in the evening, we collect and throw in the river. Fine. So that's the technology. So immediately, one of my friend, Mr. C.S. Rao, he's a forest secretary of Sikkim government. I just spoke to him over phone. I said, hey, Mr. Rao, what the hell it is? Then why you made this taking point here? Okay, I'm dumping it in the river. So I am coming back to Gangtok after a few days. Arrange one seminar. The know-how technology I'll be giving to you. Implement that in Sikkim. So first it was started in Sikkim. Then this is our Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, which is the cleanest and most greenest campus in India. And you will not find a single plastic waste here. Absolutely clean, because we do have recycling plant. It is not Switzerland, not Kashmir. It is our university ground just below the mountain. You can see the cows there here, absolutely clean, not a single plastic waste. Why it is there? We make a survey. We made a clear survey that we never see any aluminum or steel waste outside. We'll never see this, because the moment life of aluminum or steel, if you have a plate or maybe a spoon or maybe some other applications, if you have, the moment the life is over, we'll bring it back to recycling plant to melt it and make the next product. We'll never throw it out. Similarly, from the plastic trash, which is the waste, we have made these fantastic roof tiles and ridge tiles. This is called footpath tiles, or you can say ridge tiles. On these ridge tiles, we have tested under 10-wheeler trucks having around 15 tons of weight. Nothing happened. So this is the road in Hyderabad. Also, you can see in Ghaziabad. Our company, our students have made the company as supplying this one across the country. These we have given to Narendrapur Ramakrishna Mission in Kolkata. They already have installed this one, and 18th I am going there, giving another lecture in Narendrapur Ramakrishna Mission, and I'll be inaugurating that one on that day, on 18th of this month. So Ramakrishna Mission Narendrapur already installed this one. Now you can see this. This is called plastic tiles for the roofing. So we are changing, making this roofing by this way, step by step. You can see here. So why this roofing is more important? Because the thermal conductivity of the plastic is 0.1 to 0.33. If we have clay, it is 0.6 to 2.5, concrete 0.5 to 1.8, metal 0.8, asphalt 0.75, and asbestos is 2.07. So therefore, during summer, it will remain much cooler if you have this plastic roofing. The temperature in Kolkata, I remember, or the South Bengal, it goes around 41, 42. And if you have a tin, as I said, or asbestos, as I said, temperature goes even up to 65 or 70 on the roof. But if you have a plastic tiles on the roof, nothing will happen. Temperature will remain as cold. You don't require even the fan also. So this is the roofing from the plastic tiles. You can see here, this plastic composite tiles has been installed in Dasagram High School in West Midnapur in West Bengal. This roof set has been installed at Mahisadal in East Midnapur of West Bengal. You can see that such a big roofing replacing tin and asbestos sheet. And we have given more than, I think, 10 dealership in West Bengal to spread this know-how across the state. Now I am talking about the multi-layer plastics. I think everyone just a moment. So I think everyone, we eat biscuit or potato chips and we throw it out. And the problem is that in India we have around 2,400 kilometers of our Himalayan belt. Correct? In the Himalayan belt, more than 10 states, every summer, more than 3 to 5 crores tourists they go, they eat this potato chips, biscuit and throw it out. Fine. And we really cannot ban this because if you have this packaging by this aluminum foil inside and outside the plastic, it will become airtight. It will remain airtight, and the food processing maybe in Nagpur, it can go up to Kanyakumari, it can go up to Assam or Arunachal Pradesh or even Gujarat, and it can sustain there for several years. So the problem is that the processing, and what we did, we have converted that multi-layer plastics to furnitures. You can see here, the furniture is table, the stool, we have made a fantastic table. So there are two kinds of benefit here. First, we are cleaning the plastic, and then we are using that one as a furniture. So we will not use wooden furniture. That means it will be giving less deforestation. So it is a clean India, and again the green India is forming there. Next, I am showing that thermocol. If you survey in Kolkata or any city in Bengal, maybe Bardhaman, Midnapur, Malda, or maybe Durgapur, the reason of the flood is this gentleman. You just go and ask, survey in your own with the corporation or with the municipalities. The drains are choking, the rivers are polluting, and then the lakes are also getting polluted by this thermocol waste. This thermocol waste we collected, and we have made this fantastic, this rectangular of shapes with the glass fiber reinforcement, and this could be useful for lightweight helmet, then the car bumpers. This technology we have given to one mega industry in Pune called KK Nag Industries Private Limited. They manufacture this I'm coming to this packaging, thermocol packaging. So how to recycle that? The technology was given to KK Nag Industries in Pune. Now from this waste of this thermocol, they will be manufacturing this thermocol new setup with the next product. And that product, the name is given as Swami Vivekananda Thermocol Waste Recycling Center in Pune. Next, I am showing the Tetra Pak. I think during summer, all of us, we drink Maja mango or maybe fruity. During winter, we also take the lassi, or maybe in summer also, or coffee. What do? We just drink and throw it out. So from this Tetra Pak, and if you have a air travel, definitely you'll be seeing that the passengers are taking this Tetra Pak, drinking, and the air is coming with a black bag, putting it inside and throwing it out in the airport. So from this Tetra Pak waste, we have made this fantastic cotton. These cottons one can use as a sofa cushion, pillow, blanket, jacket. That means from the Tetra Pak, which you are just drinking in 10 minutes time or half an hour time and throwing it out, the moment we make a blanket or sofa cushion, its life will be several years. And we will be saving natural cotton. The technology is that collection of plastic waste, number one, cleaning of plastic waste, number two, segregation, then processing in recycled plastics, then products, longer life, marketing. There are seven stage, and each stage having the employment generation. And what we have calculated from this technology in India itself, we really can have at least 200 industries. Within West Bengal, it can be around 15 to 20 industries minimum, because the quantum of plastic waste in West Bengal itself is around 5,000 tons per day. Kolkata alone is 426 tons. We have a clear data. Kolkata alone is around 426 tons, and in and around West Bengal is 5,000 tons per day. So this technology is that we need to segregate. So message should go from the housing. Instead of throwing it out, the housing must have a segregation by this. We should not mix all together, segregate at the source itself. And already we have dumped. So how to clean that one? That means we need to put the jinko kehte hain na kurane wale, those who collect this. So we should employment these people, collect these plastics and whatever the waste, bring to recycling plant. Then we clean it with the water jet. After the cleaning, we segregate. You can see that the plastic bags are here, bottles are here, multi-use plastics on another side, we segregate. After segregation, we make a shredding of this. After the shredding, it goes to this powder, and in the injection molding, or sorry, in twin space powder, we make the granules. After the granules, injection molding, we make this very efficient product like the plastic tiles. The plastic bag or bottle, which you only use for only few minutes or maybe 1 hour, the moment we make these tiles, its life will become 60 to 70 years. Once its life is over, the tiles life is over, we can again recycle and make another product. It's a continuous process like steel and aluminum. This is a rich tiles, footpath tiles. Now my next slide. In India, we have 7,600 kilometer coastal line, starting from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal. Such a huge coastal line. We have abundance of coconut fibers, coconut trees, which can make the coconut fibers. We have abundance of banana trees, which can make the banana fibers. Then, I'm skipping few slides here. Then if we use this banana fiber and coconut fiber, if we mix with that, then we'll make a even higher strength of that product. That means we can make use of our natural resources. My next slide, since last 20 years, the Boeing 787, I'm just showing one particular aircraft, having almost 60 to 70% plastic, glass fiber and carbon fiber reinforced composite, which is called CRPF. That is means carbon fiber and glass fiber reinforced composite with the epoxy. Wind turbine also having this glass fiber reinforced epoxy. Then we have the solar panels also having a multi of layers of the materials. Skipping the technical part here is not so important. We have found that in the solar panel, we have combination of carbon, aluminum, boron, silicon, oxygen, then fluorine, and many of these materials. So what we did from that, we have converted to bricks. It's not the testing phase. So we have made that from the solar panel waste, or maybe from that your wind turbine waste, or maybe that air structures waste, we have made the bricks. So our next planning is that once the bricks is done, we already have the roofing. We'll be making a complete house out of it. So waste to housing. So therefore, there is a transformation called Clean India to Currency India. That means in Clean India, you have Mahatma Gandhi's photo. current is Mahatma Gandhi's photo. That means if we clean India, that will become a resourceful India, as a currency India. My another 3 students this year, 2020, they have their own startup company in Chennai called Wisdom Solutions, Tamil, Mangal, and Bisak. So they are making the bricks and taking for the future applications. So the products, they already have made this from the multi-layered plastics. They have made this furnitures from the fiber reinforced plastics. They have made these bricks. Then I am coming another very important aspect. I think many of you definitely had been to Sundarban. Must be, I think. If you survey yourself, what about the boats? What about the boats? Wooden boats. Now let me explain. Just to have one wooden boat, we are chopping 2 trees. Just imagine. And the life of this boat is only 5 years. Then we are throwing it out. That means we are chopping 2 trees for 5 years for only one small boat. If you survey in Sundarban itself, we have more than 1 lakh boats minimum. Then if you see the other rivers, like maybe in Ganga or Mananda altogether, then in Bengal itself, it will be more than 5 lakhs boat. Correct? The coastal line of India is 7,600 kilometers. So our survey says in that entire coastal line, the total number of boats are more than 1 crore. Imagine. So how much we are chopping trees to making the boats. This is a bigger boat in Sundarban. This is trawler for the fishermen. This is also trawler. Then if you have the maybe passenger boats, okay, I'm just giving a data here. And this is my survey also. This I saw there. Just to make the total revenue generation would be, if we make the boats out of the waste plastic, will be 1 lakh crore. Imagine, we have submitted one project, and if the project become granted, we'll be making board out of it, and technology will be giving to one major company in Delhi called Sumi Motherson or Tata to make the boats. So what is the benefit? So we'll be then minimizing deforestation, no chopping of trees. So why thermoplastic is so important? High impact strength, no solvent is emitted, damage tolerance, indefinite shelf life, superior toughness, fusion weld, generally recyclable and reprocessable. So another, why polymer composite? High strength to weight ratio, damage tolerance, easy to process, high structural rigidity, high toughness, improved environmental resistance, less corrosion, and tailor-made properties. So this is me in Canada, in Lake Ontario. This is called canoe, a small boat. Me and my friend David, we are just doing this boating there in Lake Ontario. And this boat is so light, you just simply can carry on your head. Put on the car and you can bring it there. So our main planning is that one, we'll be recycling the plastic, we'll be making the boat out of the plastic waste for our next project. I have seen in Sweden also, they have these plastic boats. So again, this technology is that we have to clean that plastics. Then we have to, I think we need to melt that one, make a one lump, then shredding. After shredding, extruder, granules, film casting machines, we make the film out of it. Once we make the film, we'll be stacking film and fiber, the thermoforming process, and we really can make the boats like this, which will have a life more than 30 years. The life of present wooden boats are maximum 4 to 5 years. That can go up to, with this recycling plastic boat, would be minimum 30 years. Then the outcome of the technology is that this thermoplastic waste will be cleaned and recycled. We will minimize deforestation by minimizing wooden boats. We will generate economy and employment. Next, I am coming my another important started. Everyone, we are now using computer, laptop, mobile phone, everyone, okay, and other electronic gadgets. So you see that we have 1.35 billion population in the country. Mostly people are using this, having a life maximum 4 to 5 years. Again, we are throwing it out, which is creating another huge electronic garbage in the country. My another 4 students, they were just first year in 2019. They approached me, sir, this is important technology we're taking forward. Now they're in the second year, they continue the project. So when we deassembled electronic gadgets, we found 21 materials. Imagine 21 materials accumulated and made one product. So these 4 students, they are hardly 19 or 20 years of age. So they said by end of their BTech project, so after 4th year, they'll have a complete technology. Then they'll have their own startup company. They'll not go for any job. They'll be making the electronic waste for the products out of it. Then I am telling you the another important aspect. We have now COVID-19 or many other problems in the country. So biomedical waste, so many hospitals, syringe, all those things, we are simply dumping out. So we must have technology for the how to recycle the biomedical waste. Very important slide. This slide is in Kanyakumari, that Vivekananda Rock Memorial. Swami Vivekananda is looking towards India. And he was there on 1892 from 25th to 27th December. He was meditating there and faced towards India. And the vibe came in his mind that in future India, it will be a developed country. No one can stop that one. Then what we have learned, this particular gentleman called Sri Eknath Ranade, we really saw his passion. From 1963 to 1970, these gentlemen went each and every houses, collected only ₹1. He didn't ask anyone, a big help. Every houses, he collected ₹1, that become 30 crores. That 30 crores become a monument, Vivekananda Memorial at Kanyakumari. The one man dedication made the changes. That means if we really have the passion and dedication, we really can show the guideline to the country. We have given this clear information from this technology. India can generate more than 200 industries. Employment will be around 10 lakhs. Government of India taking the suggestion very sincerely. It's gone to higher level. We are giving complete know-how. And today, this is my 65th lecture in last 2 years. This is my 65th lecture in last 2 years. I am coming to Kolkata on 18. My first lecture will be on Narendra Brahmakrishna Mission on 18. Again, 19, another lecture. So in Kolkata also, we're installing one plant near to the bypass. So mission is that clean India, green India. So let us collectively strive to keep country's head high like morning sun in mighty Himalaya. And finally, India was liberated because of this gentleman. We have to accept this fact. He is the real father of the nation. Okay, Jai Hind. Now I'll be showing my samples to you. This week. So I am showing this one step by step. See, this is plastic bags. You can see the plastic bags, all of you. This is plastic bottles. So plastic bags we are using for half an hour, 1 hour is throwing it out. Bottles, okay, I'm drinking water, I'm keeping it. Otherwise, if we travel, I'll be throwing it out. From these plastic bottles and the plastic bags, we have made this excellent footpath tiles. You can take bus, truck, whatever, nothing will happen. And its weight is only 300 grams. Only 300 grams. Okay. Then that roof tiles, can you show? Yes. This is roof tiles. You can see the roof tiles here. Is reaching the villages. And we have a clear calculation. In India, we still have 70% people live in the village. This is that long shade, which really can replace tin shade or the aluminum shade. Okay, next. Which types? This is rich tiles to fix that roofing. It's pretty light. Okay, next. Multi-layer plastic. Okay, then I am showing you, this is thermocol. We have made this automotive bumpers. It can be also helmet, lightweight helmet from the thermocol waste, which is polluting Bay of Bengal or River Ganga or any lakes or any drains and choking and creating trouble across the cities and creating floods. So if we collect that one, we can make a fantastic, excellent product out of it. Then I am showing you this Tetra Pak, Maja mango or whatever. From the Tetra Pak, we have made this cotton. It can be pillow, it can be a blanket, whatever you can use, or maybe sofa cushion. Then I am showing you this multi-layered plastics, which is outside. The outside is, you can see here, plastic. Inside is aluminum foil. From this, we have made these rectangular blocks. Bigger one, can you show bigger one? Yeah. The rectangular blocks, you can see here in the rectangular blocks, if I put 4 aluminum stand or 4 steel stand, it can be used as a stool or furniture or table or chair. Because in the mold, we even can go up to 2 meter by 4 meter, the bigger one. In my mold, I have made a small one for a sample, but for a real one, even we can go up to this. That means we can replace the wooden furniture out of it. So I think I have shown all the spectrum of plastic waste to different products. And now I'll be liking to show you one more. That another one, that is called our bigger one. It is not there. Okay. And this one from the solar panels, or say you can see this your aviation structures, or maybe if we see that wind structures, windmill, we have made the bricks out of it. So we have made the bricks, we have made the furnitures, we have made the automotive bumpers, we have made the pillows. So whatever you feel, so plastic waste is not the waste, it's a wealth for the country. So with this, I just conclude, and now I think I'd be happy to interact with you if you have whatever questions you have.
Thank you very much, sir. So we are really privileged to have you in this program. And whatever you said, really, sir, it is really the wealth from West. And as you mentioned in your previous slides, that no one actually can make the change. We all should have the responsibility to look into this matter. But on the other hand, too, if someone has really the zeal and the enthusiasm and the passion, so one man can really make the change like you. So thank you, sir, for your wonderful, and it was kind of unbelievable thing that you made us in a real life. So just with my curiosity, just I have 2-3 questions. Like, sir, you have prepared or you have fabricated many things like tiles from plastic waste. You have made that lightweight helmet kind of material from thermocol. So in all the aspects, do you really have the same type of machine to initially gather the raw materials from the plastic or thermocol and give the shape to the different one?
Yeah, let me explain this one. For this entire technology, we require 6 equipments. Okay, so with the 6 equipment, you can, whatever the plastic waste, you can recycle. What about that? So we have a complete project technology is ready there. But the fact, as a process engineer, each plastic having a different processing technology that we know. And we have 2 patents on that. But whoever is liking to install one, say, a plant, maybe wherever, we are giving full know-how to them. Okay, so basically we need to install 6 equipment, and that six equipment can really clean the spectrum of plastic waste.
Okay, and the second one, sir.
Yeah.
So for a small size of that tiles material,
Huh.
so how much that raw material in terms of the waste plastic or used plastic that
I'm showing this.
needs?
Yeah, the tile one. Just a moment.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
See this tile. This is its weight is around 500 grams. Okay, and the footpath tiles, the weight is around 300 grams. The importance of this that the moment you can you bring that plastic bag? Plastic bag can you open? The importance is that to make this 300 grams weight of plastic tile, you require 301 gram of plastic bag. Almost no loss or negligible loss. No carbon dioxide emission, no carbon monoxide. It's complete green technology. So almost 99.9% weight saving, material saving. So if we collect say around 300 grams, we can make one tiles. And what we have seen that one small industrial plant can really recycle per day around 2 to 5 tons. If we have 2 to 5 tons, then productivity will be per day around 5,000 tons. And ROI will start from 11 months and break-even point in 16 months. Okay, so this technology we are giving to Pune, in Kochi, in Mumbai, many places we have given, in Hyderabad also. In Kolkata also we have given. It's coming out gradually. Fine. And also, I would request to all of you, this is my, maybe it may be my own view or vision. As a scientist, or as an engineer, or an academician, we should be open to all. We should not be to any political outlook, because we work for the country. Am I correct or not?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yes. We should be open to all, because ultimately this will be giving employment across India. So therefore, whoever approaching us, we are giving this information to all. So it may be any government, it may be Assam government, it may be Tripura government, it may be Sikkim, it may be West Bengal, whoever, we are giving to all. There should not be any kind of political biasness on this. Should not be like this. Anyway, I think Dr. Suranjana having some questions. She raised a hand, I believe.
Yes, sir. Are you listening me? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Slowly.
Yes, you can ask.
Actually, sir, it's a wonderful representation. Experts, thanks for this. I have a question. Can your recycling products help in agriculture or paddy fields, or if you have?
I think Dr. Suranjana, I think there's some noise in your that. Could you repeat your question once again?
Actually, sir, my question is, can your recycling products can help in agriculture anyhow, or have you thought how?
Oh yes, yes. I think you have seen no that actually in some of the tiles, even we are incorporating coconut fiber and also banana fiber. Right. And in particularly, if you see the, I think in the Bengal base or the rivers, we have plenty of coconut fibers and banana fibers. And you know that to make the banana fiber, the banana stem, like you know, that your it just go with the two of that your gears, and you just warm it up, heat it up, it will become a fiber. And once we mix that one, we get a much higher strength. And with this, no, we can really employ the village people.
Okay.
So rural economy will be also be useful.
Rural economy can be improved.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think
I have a question, sir. My name is Dr. Kakoli Bhadra.
so could you kindly put your video and this because I
Yes, sir.
cannot.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah,
So there is
you're
some
audible.
problem
You're
with the
audible.
video recording, sir.
Okay, you're
Sir,
audible. Yes.
Okay. So my question is, first, let me thank you for such an informative talk. My just as a non-engineered person, I just want to ask you that nowadays people are encouraging to use more of non-plastic products like
Okay.
bags, jute bags, or any cloth material, bags made up of cloth material. So in that case, what is your feedback or opinion? Should we go for these non-plastic products more rather than going from waste to management technique, or should we go for both the technique, that is both
I think very.
non-plastic?
I got your question. I have the answer ready also for that.
Okay.
And see, I think we should go both, because you know that during our childhood days, I remember we had a jute bags or the jute basta. I remember the big one. No, in the big bags we used to put maybe salt or sugar, whatever. If you go to any grocery shop during our childhoods, I remember in the 80s or 90s, we have those big bags. But you know that if you have a that jute bags, which is a porous, in fact, and if it's a porous, so air will go inside, and that will spoil at least 5. If you have a 50 kg of salt bag, 5 kg will spoil. 5 kg of soil of the salt will spoil. Okay, number one. And number two, can you give me that multi-layer plastics? I'm giving another answer to you. See, earlier, you know, that potato chips, I think we used to have that, I think, paper packet or newspaper packet. I remember, if you have a newspaper packet, the potato chips inside will remain as a edible for 2 to 3 days, because the air goes inside and that spoils the potato chips. It not become that hard on that one. So therefore, this airtight bag came. Suppose the packaging is happening somewhere in Nagpur, maybe the Haldiram, I'm just giving example, and it's going to Arunachal Pradesh. It's going to up of the Himalayas. So on that, we're having a beneficial loss. And also another thing, if you see this packaging, another one, the thermocol. Thermocol, if you buy one computer, if you buy one refrigerator or maybe laptop, you will not like to have the broken parts. It's a completely vibration shocking proof, making a fantastic packaging, and therefore you're getting a part intact. I think if I buy one computer, I'll not like scratch one on my screen. Certainly not. And what we are doing actually, you know, that we are throwing it out. So therefore knowledge is giving for the packaging purpose. It's really useful for that. But at the same time, we should not throw it out. There should be a garbage collection mechanism and we make the next product out of it. It's as simple.
So according to you, plastic materials are indispensable, especially
Indispensable. See, madam, I'm giving the answer to you. Can you really ban the plastic toothbrush?
not exactly. That is, we are.
No way, no. Or see, I think
born
whatever
with those
cosmetics you are
things.
using, if you see your cosmetic, that one, I think full of the plastics.
Exactly.
You just check yourself. Okay. We really
Exactly.
cannot
Thank
ban.
you.
We
Thank
also
you so
cannot
much.
ban the injection syringe also, or the blood pipe also.
Thank you so much. So we have
Yeah.
to change the outlook.
Yeah, we have to change out because technology is there. And that's why today it is my 65th lecture.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. So there is a question from Dr. Shahili Gohan Yogi.
Huh.
So she actually asked about what would be the approximate initial cost of starting a business with this kind of 6 equipments that you have mentioned.
Actually, to procure the 6 equipment, each equipment will be average around 20 to 25 lakhs. So it will be 1.2 to 1.5 crores of the investment for the equipment. Okay. And return will come from 11 months. 11 months. And from 18 months, the profit will be seen. And also, if you see, like we have a clear data in Kolkata itself, we are generating every day 426 tons of plastic waste. So Kolkata can have at least 20 industries out of it. Instead of having the inward fighting, okay, political fighting must be stopped. People should take care of this thing first. Yes, I think anyone else or any questions?
Yeah, so I would like to just extend her question.
Huh.
Is these all 6 equipments are indigenous or we need
All Indian. We have
fantastic.
Indian waste, Indian brain, Indian equipment, and Indian end user. Okay.
So I really wish that I could be a student under your supervision.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I am very strong pro-Indian.
So is there any question that you'd would like to ask Professor Bhomik? Anyone?
Dr. Saptarshi, do you have any question?
Yeah, he has just gone for another meeting to
Another
attend.
meeting.
So he just left 5 minutes back. So if there are no other questions from the audience, so with this note, I would like to thank you, sir, for your
Thank you very much.
presentation, for your time, and lot of take home that we have got. So we would like to so make a bridge between Autonomous University and with your university to actually so that we
Sure.
can serve the community. So it's not
Sure,
about
sure.
it's not about publishing a paper. It's all about to serve the community what
Yeah.
we are actually looking for.
We should have a mission in life, no? That was
Exactly, sir.
the mission in life. So before my departure from this world, I should do something and peacefully I leave this world.
Okay, so
Okay, so thank you very much.
okay, thank you, sir. With this note, I would like to inform all the attendees, like in the second session, second half, we have another interesting session conducted by Professor Arinda Mitro, and we will going to deliver a talk on storytelling on successful entrepreneurship. And also we'll be sending a few questions as a quiz format at the end of during the session. So please do not miss the session. So we will start the session sharp at 2 p.m. Okay. So thank you everyone, every participant who joined and made the program successful. So thank you very much again. So see you in the 2 p.m. For the second half. Thank you very much.